Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Chris sat on the floor of the abandoned house, his heart pounding, cold sweat soaking his shirt. The screams from the village well still echoed outside, mixed with the fierce thunder. In his hand, the oil lamp was burning brightly, the blue flame flickering, as if thousands of souls were screaming inside. He knew that the decisive moment had come. The voice in his head rang out clearly. You must choose. Either become a part of us, or break the seal with a sacrifice. Chris held his head, his heart clenched. He didn't understand what that sacrifice meant. Should he voluntarily throw himself into the well, or was there another way to end the curse? The night passed. The house shook with each gust of wind. The windows opened, and shadows poured in one after another, surrounding him on all sides. Their deep black eyes glowed green, looking straight at him as if demanding. A tall, thin shadow stepped forward, his voice hoarse like the wind. Return the light to the sea. Chris shook his head and shouted, I don't belong to this ritual. I'm not a sacrifice. But the flame in the lamp flared up, illuminating his pale face, and he himself knew that he couldn't escape forever. He ran out into the square, where the ancient well still emitted a blue light from its depths. Shadows followed, forming a circle around it. On the edge of the well, the oil lamp shook violently, the light flickering on and off. Chris felt as if his last breath was being sucked into the flame dot in that moment. He remembered the old letter. Only sacrifice can break the curse. But the sacrifice here might not be himself. He suddenly thought of something else. If the oil lamp was a seal that held the soul, then destroying it could free them all. But would doing so cost him his life? Chris stood on the edge of the well, clutching the lamp tightly. The shadows roared in unison, the rumble drowning out the thunder. A small figure appeared before him, the child who had guided the way through the mist. Its eyes were bright blue, its voice whispering, break it, so we can be free. Chris looked at the lamp, the blue light flickering, his hand shaking. A strong wind blew, the mist swirled. Chris closed his eyes, holding the lamp high. Hundreds of screams echoed in his head, half for help, half in anger. He shouted, throwing the lamp hard onto the stone floor next to the well. The sound of shattering rang out deafeningly. The blue light exploded, spreading across the square, shining through the mist. The black figures screamed, their bodies dissolving into mist that flew into nothingness. The well churned, the water boiled, then suddenly subsided. Chris collapsed, gasping for breath, his ears still ringing from the disappearing screams. The square was now a silent white mist. He looked down into the well, no longer seeing the faces of the ghosts. The still water reflected him, tired, exhausted, but still alive. But just as he thought he was free, a small sound rang out from a faint whisper, fading but still audible. You have chosen, but the price is not over. Chris looked up in panic. The mist around the village was thicker, as if it wanted to swallow the whole space. He took a shaky step back, knowing that breaking the lamp was only the beginning. Perhaps the curse had been awakened instead of broken, and tonight, what was left would find him. At the end of episode 10, Chris thought he had freed all the souls, but a greater shadow still lurked. Stay tuned for the next episode, titled Episode 11, The Last Wave, to find out what the horrifying ending was.